Up with KREM begins now.
Good morning and thank you for joining us on Up with KREM this morning. I'm Nicole Hernandez.
And I'm Tim Pham. We also want to welcome you in if you're streaming us on KREM 2+. We do begin this morning with some breaking news. Right now, the Spokane Fire Department investigating at West 27th Avenue on Spokane South Hill. They are at the scene of a house fire.
And our Brandon T. Jones is live there right now. So Brandon, what have we learned so far?
Tim, Nicole, we've learned that an early morning fire has claimed the life of a woman who lived inside of this house and also two dogs who lived in this house as well. We've been speaking with neighbors for the last half hour or so. They told us that it was two German Shepherds inside of that home along with the woman who lost their lives. They were sharing videos of those early morning flames. They described smelling the smoke inside of their own homes before walking out, hearing all of the sirens from the fire alarms. Again, 12:42 a.m. That's when fire crews got the call. They arrived about 4 minutes right after that. And then ultimately, it took about an entire hour to get all of the flames controlled and prevent any damage to the surrounding homes as well. A few minutes to get out those individuals who lost their lives. Again, that woman and those two dogs. Something else that neighbors shared with us as well is that this is not the first fire that has hit this house. They told us that just a few months ago, that restoration process from the last fire actually was beginning to wrap up. But again, unfortunately, one woman was killed and two dogs as well. Once we get any other information, any other details, we'll be sure to keep you posted as well. For now, reporting live on the South Hill of Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Brandon T. Jones reporting. Thanks so much. We'll check back in with you. In the meantime, we do want to help you prepare for your forecast with meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Thomas, the sun is out shining and it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice day.
Yeah, and like yesterday, we start the day with sunshine. Unlike yesterday, we stay with sunshine all day long. That's the biggest difference between yesterday and today's weather. No more do we have to track those scattered showers or isolated thunderstorms. That now gone from the forecast for today. Still a bit on the cool side at 38 degrees, even with a whole lot of sunshine overhead. A little bit of some cloud cover if you're looking way off into the distance there, but that shouldn't be too bothersome whatsoever. Noticing just a little sliver of some showers. That's pretty close to Walla Walla, Washington, and Pendleton, Oregon, but even that should fade out pretty quickly here as we are expecting a day with a lot more sunshine than not. High temperatures upper 50s for this afternoon, and we'll take a nice big jump upwards heading into tomorrow. So we're tracking just how warm conditions will be for the rest of the week.
And we also want to take a live look at traffic this morning. This is a look at I-90 and Division right near downtown. You can see everything moving nice and smoothly. Definitely more cars picking up as people get out for their morning commute, but no traffic yet. So things should look good. We'll of course continue checking weather and traffic every 30 minutes. We do have a heads up for drivers, though. Starting tomorrow, the Washington Department of Transportation will start using cameras to find people who are speeding. They're setting up the cameras on eastbound I-90 between the Liberty Lake and the State Line exits. WashDOT says the program is a pilot and the goal is to, quote, change behavior and prevent collisions. For now, if you get caught, WashDOT will mail you a courtesy notice instead of a full ticket.
Happening in less than an hour, Brian Kohberger, the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students in November of 2022, will appear in court for hearings that could have a huge impact on the outcome of his trial. The hearings will determine what evidence will be shown to the jury when the trial begins in August. The defense is trying to block certain evidence. Among the contested items are some of his Amazon purchases allegedly made by Kohberger, including a K-bar knife, sheath, and sharpener. Prosecutors say a matching sheath was found at the crime scene with DNA linked to Kohberger, while the defense suggests the knife sheath could have been planted. The defense also challenges the 911 call made by the surviving roommates' phones, arguing it contains hearsay that shouldn't be included at trial. Prosecutors contend the call qualifies as an excited utterance under Idaho rules of evidence and should be played during the trial. Text messages between surviving roommates are also in dispute. Defense attorneys argue that if these texts are admitted, all cell phone records should be presented to show the complete picture. Prosecutors maintain the selected texts adequately portray the timeline between the murders and the 911 call. Koberger's trial is scheduled to begin in August, with the outcome of this week's hearing potentially shaping the prosecution's case.
All right, now we have some new news this morning following Trump's 104% tariff on China. This morning, Beijing upped its tariff of the American goods to 84%. Now, shoppers across the country are getting ready for things to cost more since President Trump's reciprocal tariffs started on goods from almost every country. The White House says countries are coming to them ready to make a deal, but with no agreements, financial markets sank early this morning. The president says leaders from Japan and South Korea are headed to the U.S. to negotiate. Vietnam and Zimbabwe have said they would scrap tariffs on U.S. products. The EU says that it will eliminate tariffs on industrial goods and cars if the U.S. does the same. Yet no progress with China, likely meaning more expensive electronics and clothing.
What the requirement is, and this is where I believe the president has misconstructed and actually exploited this authority, is not communicated to us, nor these interest groups that are now panicked over the effect of tariffs. So I would say
Washington Senator Maria Cantwell pressed President Trump's trade chief as he defended the administration's sweeping tariffs. Yesterday, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer told senators negotiations to lower the reciprocal tariffs will be on a country-by-country basis.
And lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are concerned about how this will affect our economy.
There's going to be an awful lot of collateral damage. People are already feeling that pain.
Trump's tariffs will push millions of workers out of jobs and push prices up.
Some businesses say they are seeing some positives from the tariffs. In Mississippi, shrimpers say tariffs on imported seafood can help level the playing field. But the Southern Shrimp Alliance says imported shrimp prices have gone up about 50 cents per pound. As for the stock market, yesterday we saw a roller coaster of ups and downs. You can see the live stock market numbers right now on KREM.com.
Across the nation, the Trump administration is quietly revoking the visas of some international college students, which is affecting universities here in the Inland Northwest. In a letter on Monday, Gonzaga President Thane McCullough said the federal government revoked visas for 2 of its international students.
And as our Shannon Mowdy found out, many universities are saying they're finding these things out without any heads up from the government.
From California to Arizona,
was a violation of the Constitution.
Minneapolis to Spokane, international student visas are being canceled. Many of these revocations done without the federal government alerting the school. That was the case at Gonzaga, according to President Thane McCullough. In a letter sent Monday, he announced 2 international students' records were wiped and visas revoked, a change only discovered during a regular review of a federal database. Gonzaga leadership declined an interview Tuesday, saying the letter serves as its statement for now. GU didn't give a reason for the revocations, if there is one, citing student privacy. But the Trump administration has been pretty clear why some of these revocations are happening.
We have a right to deny your visa. I think it would make sense to deny your visa. We're going to err on the side of caution. We are not going to be importing activists into the United States. They're here to study. They're here to go to class. They're not here to lead activist movements.
In a January executive order, President Trump stated he'd revoke visas of all students who protested against Israel and the war in Gaza.
Free Palestine!
Gonzaga students and faculty held several pro-Palestinian protests last year. GU isn't the only Northwest school to see student visas canceled. 9 University of Washington students and recent grads had their legal documents pulled, according to UW, due to immigration status violation. UW said no additional details were provided, but said there's no indication these cancellations were due to activism.
And an undergrad student at Washington State University also had their visa revoked.
The university says the student chose to leave in December in the country, and there are reports at least 2 University of Idaho students have also been impacted. U of I did not return our request for information. Eastern Washington University says they are checking its student records on a database daily. So far, no current students have been affected.